This angel food cake is light and airy and super delicious. It's the perfect angel food cake recipe. To start, you'll need to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then you'll need a tube pan. It kind of looks like a bundt cake, where it has this center hole, but unlike a bundt cake, this has two pieces that fit together. And once again, it's called a tube pan. You'll need it to make an angel food cake, and you'll need to leave the pan ungreased. You don't want any kind of grease when making an angel food cake. Now, there's something crazy about making angel food cake, and that is that after it's done baking, you have to flip the pan upside down. So before we start, you'll need to find a bottle that's the right size to fit into the center of the tube pan so that you can balance it on top. Now, I know that this sounds a little bit crazy, but trust me, and it's a lot easier to figure out what will fit into the center before baking than after. Next, you'll want to separate out 12 egg whites into a large mixing bowl. You want to let these sit out for 15 to 20 minutes so that they can come to room temperature. This will make for a much better cake if you just have a little bit of patience and let them warm up. In the meantime, we're going to sift together 1 cup of cake flour with 1.5 cups, here, I'll get that sifting, with 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. Now, a couple of notes here. You'll want to make sure that you use cake flour because it is much more finely ground, and it's cut with a little bit of cornstarch, and it creates a light and airy cake. So don't skip out on this. And I actually don't even recommend making a cake flour substitute. Now, a lot of recipes will have you use regular granulated sugar, but I have you use powdered sugar because it is also cut with a little bit of cornstarch and it's much more finely ground. And I feel like the combination of the cake flour and the powdered sugar creates the perfect angel food cake. Now, moving back to our egg whites, we're going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of cream of tartar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, and start whipping this. Now, I'm using a hand mixer today, but you could also use a stand mixer, or if you're feeling really strong and like your arm won't give out, you can beat this by hand with a whisk. Once your egg whites start to get all frothy and foamy, start adding in another 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, and I like to add it in about a tablespoon or 2 at a time. Now, this powdered sugar is in addition to the powdered sugar that we sifted in with the cake flour, so don't let that confuse you. There's 3 cups total. Keep on whipping this until you have nice stiff peaks that form like so, where it keeps its shape. And the egg whites will have a nice satiny finish to them. You want to make sure that you're whipping your egg whites in either a glass bowl or a metal bowl because they'll whip a lot easier than if you use a plastic bowl. Then we're going to take our flour mixture, and I'm going to sift about 1/3 of it right over the tops of the egg whites. Then we're going to take a large rubber spatula and start gently folding this in. And you want to be gentle as you fold because you want the air to stay in those egg whites. You want to repeat this process of sifting and folding in the flour mixture until it's all mixed in. Sifting it again gives it a second sift, which makes your cake even lighter and fluffier. Make sure you scrape the sides and bottom of the bowl to make sure there's no hidden pockets of flour. Then we're going to take this mixture and transfer it into our tube pan. I just kind of dollop it in there and divide it around the circle as evenly as possible. It's always a little bit difficult to divide it around that center hole. Then I just run the rubber spatula around one time to pop any air pockets and then smooth out the top just a little bit. Then this is going to go immediately into a 350-degree oven for 45 minutes. The top of the cake should be browned and be dry to the touch, and if you tap on it, it shouldn't jiggle. Then you'll want to grab that bottle because you're going to need to flip it right on top. And I know it's a little bit crazy, but you just leave it upside down like this for about 1.5 hours to let it cool. You do this so that the cake doesn't collapse on itself. It just hangs upside down and it doesn't fall out of the pan, and you just let it hang there for 1.5 hours. I know, it's crazy. After the cake's completely cooled, we'll use a butter knife to saw around the edges to get it out. Release that center portion too, then we'll be able to pull it out. Then you also have to release the bottom portion. Then you can flip it and it should come right out. and place it onto a cake stand. And that's it. Perfect angel food cake. Don't ever let angel food cake intimidate you ever again, because I truly believe this is a recipe that anyone can make. All that's left to do is use a serrated knife to slice and serve.